Welcome to the Lean Out Your Business podcast, a show dedicated to helping entrepreneurs accelerate business growth and simplify success. I'm your host, Krista Grasso, and I've been working with businesses for more than 2 decades to help them lean out and optimize what's working while eliminating anything that's not adding value. So if you are ready to get more time back in your day, more profit in your business, and to do business differently, growing and scaling on your terms, let's dive into today's episode. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Lean Out Your Business podcast. Today, I'm going to take you behind the scenes on how you can work with me and my team in the new year, and most importantly, why I am focusing on the offers that I'm focusing on and why I've made some of the shifts and changes that I made in my business. Because while I think it is always interesting to see what people are doing, I find it so much more fascinating to understand why they are doing the things that they are doing. So this episode is for you if A, you've been curious at all about working with me privately or working with my team inside our Simplify to Scale program to really scale your business, get yourself out of day-to-day operations, and create that ecosystem and foundation to be able to scale really simply, really sustainably, and without things being dependent on you, then this is for you. And B, if you are looking at your own offer suite, if you are trying to make decisions and determinations around what to focus on, what to cut, how to consolidate, or how to even expand your offer suite, then this episode will give you some great insights into those things and how we're doing that in Lean Out Method in this new year. So as I shared on a prior episode, 2023 was very much a year of experimentation for me and the business. I knew where I wanted to take things in Lean Out Method long term. When I looked forward to my 5 to 10 year vision and looking out further, I knew what changes I wanted to make. And I am in the period in the business where I was building the bridge between where I was and where I wanted to take things. And so often in business, I find that people can see the vision, especially as visionary leaders. For those of you listening who are visionaries like me, you can so clearly see what's next and what you want next sometimes that it can feel like you need to just stop everything that you're currently doing and immediately do that next thing, which unfortunately is usually a very disruptive thing and very destructive thing that you can end up doing in your business. I've had people come to me that have done that before. I've had clients that I've been working with that have done that before, much to my dismay, and not my recommendation. And sometimes we just feel so compelled to be doing the new thing that we immediately kill everything that we currently have in our business and start over in what we're offering. And that is not usually a good recipe for success, at least not in the short term. Sometimes long term, you're okay, but short term, you can really damage your brand, you can damage your reputation, and you can certainly damage your cash flow. So you want to do changes in your business, especially as you're feeling called to something bigger or something different, with a lot of intentionality. And you need to build the bridge between where you are and what you have and where you want to go. And if you live in your head a lot or with your team planning and strategizing a lot, and you feel like you've been talking about this new thing forever and ever and ever and thinking about this new thing forever and ever and ever, I guarantee you it is still pretty brand new to your audience. To people who follow you in your community or your clients, they are not as close to it as you are, and they need time to warm up to changes. And so one of the things that I tend to help clients with a lot is building that bridge. Like, great, I see where you want to go. This is amazing. Love it. Wonderful. Let's make it happen. And you're over here now. How are we going to get you from here to there? And how are we going to do it in a really strategic way so that you're actually growing your cash flow, you're growing your revenue, you're growing your profitability, and you're growing the interest in the new thing that's coming without damaging the brand and all of the goodwill and progress that you've made as you're making that change. And that is very much the season that I'm in my own business. I see where I want to go. I've learned from past mistakes that you do not just stop what you currently have and go and do the brand new thing. So 2023 for me was a bridge year. It was a year where I was building the bridge from what I had to where I want to take things and where I want to go. And so 2024 is a year where I'm starting to put more of those things in place, and it's really, really exciting. I'm so excited for this year. And you may have noticed that there were in 2023 different offers that came out. And the interesting thing about those offers is each one of those was done really intentionally and really experimentally to see what people connected with and to see what people didn't, which messaging landed, which structures landed, which approaches landed. And the interesting thing also that if you really pay close attention to my brand, if you're one of those people who loves to geek out on dissecting how someone has their business structured and their offer structured and tries to figure out why people do what they do, which I'm sure some of you listening are that way. I am that person. I love kind of figuring this stuff out. So for anyone who's been like analyzing that and really understands my business well and has been around for what you'll notice is I didn't actually sell anything new in 2023. Absolutely nothing new. I sold the exact same things that I've always sold. I just repositioned and repackaged some things to see what landed better. I wanted to see what people resonated with. I took a piece of this offer and tried to do it as its own standalone thing to see if it was something that people would really enjoy or if it wasn't something that they were focused on right then. So I actually introduced absolutely nothing new in 2023, yet I experimented with new things in 2023. So that is a really good way sometimes to experiment. Where I see people get themselves in a lot of trouble is pivoting, making these really massive reactive pivots instead of strategic intentional experiments. And they change things in their business. They burn what they have to the ground and then start something new. And they're constantly releasing new things. And they're things that are pretty different from things that they've done in the past. They're things that maybe are for different target markets than they've worked with in the past. Their messaging gets really confusing. Where I've seen it work well is when you're still targeting the exact same person, you're still using the same overall message. Your messaging itself is being refined and experimented with, but on a broad scale, you're still solving the same problems for the same people in the same general way. And you're just experimenting with the detail of how that gets structured, how that gets positioned, how that gets packaged and priced. And so that was very much what I did in 2023. I experimented with there's the 4 Ps of a really successful offer, the packaging, the pricing, the positioning, and the planning for how you're going to put that out into the market. And so I experimented with the 4 Ps in some of my stuff in the year, but I actually introduced absolutely nothing new in 2023. So for anyone who's paying attention, I'm sure you recognize that. And if you didn't, if you go back and look at some of the stuff that I did, you will see the patterns and you will see exactly what I was doing, which was actually a lot of fun to experiment with and to see where people really landed on things and where they didn't. And all of that was the setup for this year, knowing that going into this year, I wanted to have very, very few offers. Very few offers. I wanted to go all in on one thing and one thing only. And I wanted to cut pretty much everything else. So I wanted one thing to be the 80% in my business and the other things that I do to be more of the 20% in my business. And that is intentional because I am launching a new division of Lean Out Method this year. And I want the space and the focus for that. So I do not want as many things that I'm doing in the business. So 2023 gave me the confirmation on what that was. It ended up being exactly what I thought it was going to be. So a lot of times we know these things. But I also have sometimes in the past known things, and I'm saying that in air quotes, and not been right, or the market shifted, or something changed. And it turns out that I went in with this high confidence in the knowing without doing the testing and the experimenting, and it bit me in the butt. And so I have learned to test and to experiment. And although this time I was right on with exactly what it was going to be, I'm going into this year with so much more confidence that this is absolutely the right decision and the right path forward, and the thing that's going to not only be the right thing for Lean Out Method to scale the business even further, but for my clients and helping them to scale their own businesses and be able to get their darn lives back so that they can actually enjoy the success that they're building in their business. And so a lot of the experiments that I did in 2023 was leaning there. So for 2024, the 80% of where I am spending my time in the way that you can really work with me and my team is in our Simplify to Scale program. And I have gone through many, many iterations of this program. This program I first launched, I think, about 5 years ago now. I've had so many people that have gone through it. I've had so many cohorts that I've run through it. And every time I refine it just a little bit more to make it even more value packed. And where I have landed right now with Simplify to Scale for the year is 2 open forum Q&A calls with me per month and access to the entire Simplify to Scale framework for you and your team to go at in your own pace and to pull what you need when you need it. It is not a program in the sense that it's training videos and this very prescriptive process that you have to follow, and you must go in order and you must dedicate hours every single week to watching videos and doing things. It's intentionally designed to give you access to absolutely every single thing that you would need in order to simplify your business, get your time back, increase your profit margin, find all of that hidden time, money, and energy in the business, and to amplify and scale what is working well in your business while closing gaps in your current system and in your current team. But you don't have to go through it in order. It's a pull-based system. You go in and you pull what you need when you need it. And what I'm finding is what the CEO of a scaling business needs more than anything else. They need access to all those things. They absolutely do. That is gold and so incredibly valuable to them. But what they really need is a space to come in and ask questions to navigate the beast that scaling is. When you are scaling your business, there are challenges coming at you from every which direction. You've got team challenges, you've got systems challenges, you've got client challenges, you've got growing pains and complexities. And it can feel so overwhelming and so crushing at times that you're like, I don't know what on earth I am doing or how this ship is staying afloat. Like, this thing is barely hanging on, and I am burnt out, and I don't know. I can't give any more into this. What am I going to do? Right. And so, what people need is feedback. They need insight. They don't need more things to learn and more things to do. They need a safe space to go to get feedback and support from someone who has legit been there, done that, and from someone who gets them and their business and their vision and goals and can guide them and give them support with that in mind. And that's what I'm doing with Simplify to Scale this year. So it is 2 calls per month with me, open forum, Q&A style group format, so you can get feedback from other business owners and build relationships with other people who are also scaling, which I think is so important that we have that support system around us, because the people I work with, they're incredible. They are so smart. They are out there changing the world and doing such incredible, incredible things. The beautiful thing about Simplify to Scale is in some business models, you're more teacher to student, but Simplify to Scale to me is more peer to peer. The people that I'm working with, I often hire my clients. We hire each other because I'm working with people who also lead really successful businesses, right? I'm working with other people who are at my peer level or who are right at that tipping point of getting there. They've gotten some great success underway. They're really making great progress in their business and they're ready to move into that next level. And they want to be in the room with other people that are already there. I do not call Simplify to Scale a mastermind because I am the one who's answering your questions. But that being said, there is the community aspect where I encourage people to build relationships with the other incredibly smart, incredibly successful, incredible trailblazers and change makers and absolute rock stars that are a part of that experience. And so this to me is the place to be when you are trying to scale your business. You have access to all the resources, all the modules, all the tools, all the training, everything that you ever could need at your fingertips to pull what you need when you need. And I give the team access so that they can support you with a lot of that implementation, because you don't, as the CEO of the business, need to be doing a lot of it yourself. You need to set the vision. You need to get clear on what a rich, fulfilled life means for you. But beyond that, the rest of it your team can support you with, and your team should support you with. And if you don't yet have a team, one of the modules is building your lean dream team so that you can build up the team around you so they can handle the rest of it. So I have it as the hybrid experience where you've got the self-paced component, pull what you need when you need it, ask for support if you're not sure where to focus next, right? We've got all that set up for you, which is great. But really, the magic comes in those calls. And in the past, I've done workshops and I've done all of these live trainings and I've done strategic planning and I've done a lot of things with people. And while they did enjoy that, and while that was great, what I found was they really just wanted was more of my time to ask me questions. They really just wanted that space to be able to bounce ideas off of, or a place in between calls to be able to ask the questions when their key right-hand person quits and they're not sure what to do, or when their client pushes their boundaries again and they're not sure how to handle a particular situation, or when the tool that they were using suddenly announces that it's going away and they aren't sure what to do next because a whole bunch of their business is dependent on it, or they don't know how to leverage AI to help them in their business and they want support with it, right? They just needed a space to go to get those sorts of questions answered instead of another workshop or another planning session or another thing that was a commitment on their part. So that's how I've changed it. I've actually leaned out the program to the core essentials of the pieces that matter most to people. And that feels really good. It feels simple for me to deliver. I get excited about showing up for those calls. I am like one of those weird people where I love, love, love when you put me on the spot and ask me something. I know some people get like really nervous, and I help my clients with this too. For the people who get really nervous, I'll tell them like have people submit questions in advance so you can prepare and stuff, but not me. I love it. Throw a question at me, throw the biggest, hairiest, ugliest situation at me, and I am in my zone. Like I cannot wait to dive in and be able to solve that and help you with that. And so to me, that's what I like love doing so much. So I look forward to those calls every 2 weeks. I love getting to interact with people. I just love the business owners that I get to work with. I feel like the luckiest person on earth to work with some of the people that I work with. Just incredible, incredible business owners. And I feel so fulfilled to be able to help somebody scale their business and to be able to help somebody legit get their life back, get their time back, be able to get out of the day to day so they can do the things that they really want to do, which most of the people I work with, that means doing something where they're introducing some incredible thought leadership into the world. They're really focused on making an impact. And just as an overall community, I feel like they're really elevating the entrepreneur game, which is pretty awesome to me. So that's where I wanted to put my focus. That's where I wanted to put my 80%. So everything I did last year was figuring out how do I build up that more? How do I figure out which pieces of that are the ones that are going to add the most value to everybody else, and which ones, well, good, and well, people enjoyed them, really aren't exactly the most important thing for people that I can change, that I can reimagine. And so that's what I did. And then when I looked at how to work with me privately, again, I experimented with a few different things to see what landed most, to see what people wanted most. And in the end, what I am down to, it's really pretty simple. If you want to work with me privately, you have two options. You can hire me for a 2-hour FIFO strategy session, a figure at the F out session, where you've got one targeted thing that you want my feedback and insight on, and we can dive deep into that particular thing. And it's pretty impressive how much we get done in 2 hours. You can do that for the one off. Or we can partner together for 6 to 12 months inside my up-level program, which starts with a VIP strategy day. And then we meet every 2 weeks for the duration of time. And it's a little bit of everything. It is coaching, it is consulting, it is access to resources and tools. I connect you with people that you need to. I share with you whatever systems and whatever things you need. And behind the scenes, my team will actually go out and build your Monday boards, and we'll go do the things that you need for you as part of that experience. So that's really it. When we look at 2024, you join me in Simplify to Scale, or you work with me privately, either, for a quick question in the FIFO sessions or as part of my one-on-one 6 to 12 month container inside Up Level. I've done away with individual VIP days. The only way you get a VIP day with me is as the VIP tier of Simplify to Scale, which includes it, or as part of Up Level to kick off that engagement. I've done away with most of our other things, and that is to keep things lean, to keep things laser focused, and to really be able to go all in on Simplify to Scale while giving myself the space to focus on this new division of the business. And I'll tell you more about that in a separate episode. Not ready to spill all of the magic that's coming yet for the new division. But the one thing that I will say is even though it's a new division of the business, even though it is something new, it's also something that I did all throughout 2023. Actually did it throughout 2022 and 2023. You just probably wouldn't have known about it because I have a whole lot of things that I do in my business that I do not talk about publicly. I have a lot of private invite and private referral only things that I do in my business. So what you see on my website, what you hear me talking about here, what you see on my newsletters, if you are a part of my list, right? You don't always see all the things that I do, and that's pretty intentional. So while I was more publicly experimenting with some of the things for the core lean out method business, I was more privately experimenting with some of the things for the new division of the business. So I feel really, really excited about that coming as well. And it is a very close sister to Simplify to Scale. It is leveraging 95% of the exact same content structure and things in Simplify to Scale. It is just for a different audience. And so that to me is one of the smartest ways that you can scale a business. I always say that new and different is the enemy of scaling. We love new and different. We always do as visionaries, as ideators. New is exciting, different is exciting. But the way to truly scale without overwork and without overwhelm is to go all in on and fully optimize, fully amplify what you already have that's working in the business. And so this new division is that in form. So this new division is that exactly. I am amplifying something that is already working and I am serving a market that wants what I have, that I know wants it based on all the experiments that I ran throughout this year, but that I have not been directly serving up until now. So it's pretty exciting stuff in 2024. If you are really serious about scaling your business, if you want to scale your business in a way where you can get your time back, you want to approach things simply, you are not afraid of hard work, you're not afraid of working, you actually love to work. You love what you do, right? This isn't one of those things where you want to work only 2 hours and spend your days, like sitting on a beach in Bali doing whatever the heck people do in their laptop lifestyle, right? This isn't that vibe. This is the people I work with. They tend to be hard workers. They tend to like what they do. They love what they do. It's kind of a challenge to pull themselves away from their work sometimes, but they also do not want to work all the time. And when they are working, they do not want to spend their time on things outside their zone of genius. They want to spend their time on the things that fuel them. They want to spend their time on the things that really, really make a difference and that they feel is aligned with their legacy work. If that is you, then let's definitely talk. You can put time on my calendar at leanoutmethod.com/consult. See if Simplify to Scale is a good fit for you or see if Uplevel is a good fit for you. And you can always just book a FIFO session, a 2-hour session with me to deep dive into a particular topic at leanoutmethod.com/FIFO, FIFO, or figure the F out. And I'll tell you a little bit more about the new division. I'll be sharing more about that coming up in a future episode. But for today, I thought, you might be curious about what it is like to work with me this year, how I've made some shifts, and why I've made those shifts. And I hope that this gave you some insight into what you can do in your own business. If you are in a place where you are reimagining your business model, if you're in a place where you want to simplify things down, if you want to reimagine your core signature offer in your business, like I did, right? Simplify to Scale has been my signature offer for 5 years now, but it keeps getting better and better and better because I am always intentionally looking at how can I make it better and better and better. This year, I want to have the best program for scaling in the entire world. I do not want there to be any even question, should I join Simplify to Scale or should I join this other thing and work with this other person? It should never even be a question. Simplify to Scale should be the obvious and the only choice. And to me, that is how you really, really amplify something that's working in your business by running the experiments, by trying the things, by having conversations with current and former clients, by figuring out what's working, by figuring out what's not, by looking directionally at what the industry needs and what people are going to need that may have been different than what they were or what they needed in the past and making those changes. And that's a lot of what I've done. And I guarantee you when I'm recording another episode at this time next year, probably going to look a little bit different for the following year as well, because I am always, always evolving what I do to make sure it is as valuable as it possibly can be, given the current clients, the current landscape, the current environment, the current needs, the current problems that people are facing, which sometimes are just a little bit different than the problems that they were solving in the past, given changes around them. So, highly encourage you to do the same. If you have a lot of offers right now, look at how you can narrow it down to one core scalable signature offer with some supporting offers, and making sure that you have a clear path for people for Ascension to continue working with you when they're done with whatever your core offer is. If you already have a really lean offer suite and you have your core offer in place, your what I call your SSO, your scalable signature offer, if you've got a clear Ascension model in place and a really strong offer suite, then the focus is, how do you make what you already do and what you're already known for the absolute best it possibly can be? How do you make it fit you so you are excited about it? And how do you make it right for your client? And how do you make it so that whatever other programs are out there that somebody would consider when they are considering yours, that yours becomes the obvious choice? Not because there is anything wrong with those other programs, but because you have done the work to understand what your clients need and want more so than anything else. And you know with full confidence, and you're able to convey that confidence to them, that you are going to get them the result that they want. I think that is such a powerful way to start this year. Hope you found this valuable. I will see you again next week. Thank you for joining me for another episode of the Lean Out Your Business podcast. I hope you got a lot of value and actionable insights from today's show, and would love if you take a moment to leave us a review. If you have any questions on today's episode or on how to lean out your business, join us over in our private Facebook community, where every week we do live training and Q&A, and I'd love to have you be part of the conversation. Head to leanoutmethod.com/group to join us. And before you go, be sure to subscribe to the show so you're the first to know when we release a new episode. We'll see you next week.